What's up, guys? Welcome to Cara's Cucina, YouTube's first and only Emmy-nominated cooking show. I am standing in the kitchen at Bed Bath & Beyond in East Hanover. Beautiful space. Really excited to be shooting here this month. And today I'm going to show you how to make the classic Italian focaccia bread. So I have here about 2 1/4 cups of warm water. So we don't want it to be too hot because it'll kill your yeast, and we don't want it to be too cold because then it won't get them going. So we're gonna put in 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, or about 1 packet. And I want to thank my friends over at Orlando Foods in Caputo. They were the ones who gave me this yeast. It's a new product of theirs. I really like it. I'm going to hook you guys up with the link in the description below, so be sure you can grab that online. Not expensive and a really good product, again, direct from Italy. So that's the yeast that I'm using. And we're going to feed our yeast. So we're going to give them a little bit of sugar. So it's about 1 tablespoon of sugar that we're also going to mix in there. And we're just gonna let this all hang out in our warm water for about 8 to 10 minutes until it starts to dissolve. While we're waiting for our yeast to activate, I've got some flour here and we're gonna add some salt, but I just wanna talk briefly about the salts that we're using because we're actually using 2 different types. So to mix into our bread, we're gonna use a fine ground salt, but then for the top of it, because we wanna be able to see those flakes, we're gonna use more of a coarse ground or a flaky sea salt so that we can really kind of see those nice pieces. That's what makes the top of the bread so pretty, and it'll go beautifully with our fresh rosemary as well. So we've got 2 different types of salt here, but to mix into our flour, I'm going to use the more fine grain. So after about 8 minutes, we can see we're starting to get some bubbles in our yeast, but we do still have some dry spots. So we're just going to give this a quick stir to make sure that everything gets moistened and dissolved and mixed in. Okay. And then we're gonna go over to our flour bowl. To our flour and salt, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, as well as our yeast mixture. And we are gonna stir this with a wooden spoon until a sticky dough comes together. Okay, we're gonna cover this with plastic wrap and let it rest and rise for at least an hour. It can go for a bit longer though as well if you'd like, so it doesn't have to be exact. Don't worry too much about it. Just leave it at room temperature on your kitchen counter covered and give it at least 1 hour. After about an hour, you can see our dough has at least doubled in size. It's nice and fluffy, and actually even when I look at the bottom, there's lots of bubbles in here as well, so I know that it's pretty much good to go. So we're just gonna kind of punch it down a little bit and start to get it out of here onto a floured surface. And it's gonna be really sticky and really stretchy, and this is heavy for me to hold. Nice floured surface, floured hands. And we're just gonna knead this a little bit till it comes together. Okay, I like how this feels. It's nice and smooth. So now, olive oil is focaccia's very best friend. So we have our pan, and my olive oil is over here. We're gonna put about another, at least 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the bottom of our pan. Okay. And we're gonna put our dough in. And similar to kind of like stretching pizza dough, we're gonna use our fingers to stretch it all the way to the edges. Still a little sticky in spots. We can add a little flour. Once you have your dough pretty much filling your pan, you wanna kind of take your fingers, and we're gonna put all these little, we don't want to go all the way through, so I don't want to say holes, but we're going to kind of make all these little divots, if you will, if you're a golfer, into our focaccia. Because the next thing we're going to do is put another at least tablespoon of olive oil drizzled on top, and it's going to fill in all those holes and be so delicious. And here's where we're gonna add in that flaky sea salt. So again, we kind of want to be able to see it on top once the bread is baked. So We'll add that on. It's gonna stick into that oil. It's gonna go into those holes as well. And of course, we've got our fresh rosemary. Now you can, if you want, chop this. I kind of like just putting the big pieces on because rosemary is one of those things that personally I can't get enough of. I love how it smells. I just think it's such a beautiful herb. It's incredibly good for you. Anti-inflammatory properties. Just really, really delicious flavor and beautiful in appearance as well. So get these pieces on here. And I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. This was about 3 sprigs of rosemary. I'm gonna use all of it. Okay. We're gonna bake this at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and puffy. After about 25 minutes in the oven, your focaccia is gonna be golden, crispy on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. It smells absolutely amazing, guys. This is a great dish to serve as a side dish. You can even actually add some more to this. This is a really basic recipe, but you could put tomato and onion on top and make it almost like a focaccia pizza. You can really do a lot with this. You can slice it in half and use it as sandwich bread. So I hope you guys really enjoy this recipe. And again, I just wanna mention, we are selling tickets for my trip to Italy, so be sure to log on, caradifalco.com. You can see the full itinerary and register there. You'll also find this recipe at caradifalco.com. You can follow me, Facebook and Instagram at Cara Di Falco. I want to thank my friends over at Caputo for our yeast that we use, and for the folks over at the kitchen at Bed Bath & Beyond in East Hanover for letting us invade their space. This has been absolutely wonderful. I'm really loving working here, so be sure to check that out as well. I'll hook you up in the link in the description. That is it for this week. I will see you guys next time. Bon appetit.